Hello everyone, this is Giorgos Tsoukkas, Business Development Director at Peripol International Real Estate. Joined here today by Kyriakos Tikkis, our company's owner, a property expert, as well as a holiday rental expert. Today we're going to be doing a podcast as part of the effort to keep up, with the market's trends and, of course, inform all the clients about anything new in the market.
Yep, thanks for the invitation. Always a pleasure to be here and discuss topics of our industry. Let's try today to cover a couple of them, and obviously frequently we're going to be here and update our guests about what's happening on the market.
Okay. I would say first to talk about the trends we have noticed the last 10 years. As you remember, starting 20 years and more back, we had clients coming in Cyprus that were more flexible about locations, about type of properties and so on. And due to the lower pricing, most of them, they used to buy a property to keep it for their own usage. While the last 10 years, we have noticed that majority of the people, I can say, they start focusing on properties that they can use for their own self, but also for holiday rentals.
Yeah, obviously the trends the last decade changed drastically. Before, the people they were buying mainly for a retirement home or just a holiday home. This was the main market all around the coastal area of the island where we do specialize. And obviously the last 10 years, especially the last 5 years, everybody's buying a house, a holiday home, obviously with the intention to keep and use, but for capital appreciation. But majority of the purchaser, they're looking for properties to rent and to generate income. So it's a different trends. Always we have the market of the people that come and they want to buy a house only for their own private use, either retirement or private use. But the majority of the buyers, the last 3-4 years, they always look for properties for investment.
Okay. As we are well aware, the holiday rental has become, a bigger and bigger market over the years. And of course, that requires from the property owners to follow certain steps in order to be effective. So please advise on the main steps.
It's a different process. Obviously, if someone comes in Cyprus and he wants to buy a retirement home, they look more inland where the locals live. Also, they want to know about tavernas, amenities, the lifestyle of the locals. It's a different market. The people now they're coming to buy an investment. The characteristics of the property is completely different. They are looking for properties that they can give a good return, and these properties usually it's the coastal areas, and they look for different factors such as proximity to the beach, to amenities, and different characteristics. Always to have a pool, so it's different characteristics, and depending always on the value and on the how much someone wants to invest. It's different characteristics for villas, for apartments, for resorts. It's different properties. So we have a different steps to follow on this process now.
Okay. Also, allow me to add here that another thing that mainly changed lately is the fact that since most of the properties that are suitable for holiday rentals, they are actually new. And thus you have an additional expense, 19% on top of the purchase price, which is an important expense. As I'm aware, there is a process where you can get the funds reimbursed VAT-wise. So can you elaborate on that?
Correct, yes. Obviously, if you buy a second-hand home, you might have you have to renovate it to be ready for holiday rental. If you buy a brand new, you have to pay the VAT. Obviously, it's two different categories. It's about 5% if you buy for primary residency, but if you intend to rent the property on the holiday market, it's very important to start from the first day and follow the correct steps. You have to register on the VAT, you have to pay the VAT, which is 90% right now. But obviously it's a process on a period of 10 years where you can claim back progressively the VAT. Always, if you show that you rent the property and you generate some income. So it's a process. It's always good to take an advice from a specialist, either a tax specialist or a regulated estate agent. It's an extra cost, but it's something that progressively you receive back.
Okay. And of course, our company is willing to provide any details or any further feedback for any investor that intends to have holiday rentals, because some of the properties that we developed ourselves, we have kept for holiday rentals. And over a period of 10 years now, we have gone through a lot of experiences and we maximize our income on that. So this is good for the people to know that we're not only here to sell, but we're also here to advise people how to.
Yeah, obviously we have the expertise. We are regulated estate agents covering the whole island, but at the same time we develop our own villas. We sold some villas to private investors, and then obviously we have our own properties which we manage. So we know all the process. We've been through the process, and we are I can say we are on a level where we can advise our potential investor the way to maximize their returns.
Okay, excellent.
Which can be good returns depending on ways.
Yeah, it's always a challenge with the raw material costs and the pricing going up. It's
sure.
always a challenge to have a good return, and that's where our specialty comes, because selecting the right properties through a big portfolio, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time with our listing managers, our daily activity, in order to be able to filter through the criteria for the right client. Because let's not forget, someone may want to buy something for a holiday, and return, but at the meantime, we need to match their needs for a personal criteria, because a lot of them are actually using the properties themselves.
Yeah,
and this is where we specialize, because over the years we have had the experience to be able to listen, and the more you listen to the clients, the more you're able to actually filter through the properties, because there's a lot of properties out there. Further than that, is there anything else in specific that we need to focus for the holiday rentals part?
Obviously, as every investment, the location, I believe, is the more crucial factor. Obviously, you need to make a good search and choose a good property on a good price. It's very, very important. Now, regarding the returns, as you said before, we need to be realistic. Depending always on the way you manage your property, how professional you want to manage, how much time you may have to dedicate yourself as an investor, or if you want to use the service of a estate agent or a company, you can have a decent return either way. Usually, if you choose the correct property, the return on the coastal can vary between 5 up to 10%. Okay, we have cases for investor where they trusted us their money. We choose for them the correct properties. We manage for them the properties for a certain period of time, and they have a return more than 5 or 6%. You cannot expect to have a 20 or 30% return. We are coming across cases where some buyers are coming and they believe that they're going to have a 30% return. This cannot be feasible. But obviously, you can have a good combination of rental income, and at the same time, you can keep your property on a long period where you can have the equity appreciation. This can be very helpful on the overall return, but for holiday rentals, a return of 6% net to you is achievable.
Okay. And also allow me to ask, for example, do we need to focus and direct the people on a specific type of property when it comes to holiday rentals, like a 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom villa, 4-bedroom villa?
Obviously depend on the budget. If someone's budget is, let's say, lower than 200,000 euros, you can only target, obviously, apartments. If you target apartment, ideally, you need to choose a property on a resort where there are facilities such as sauna or spa or communal swimming pools. So it's very, very important if your main factor of buying a property is the investment and your budget is, let's say, limited, to try to focus on resorts. All around Cyprus and all the coastal area, there are different type of resorts because it's very, very important for the people they come in to rent the properties for their holidays to have like a check-in office, like a luggage drop-off place. So it's important to choose a property on the resort. Now, the majority of the properties on the market is a 3 bedrooms, villas. If you have a higher budget, ideally you choose a 4 or a 5 bedroom villa. My opinion is that a 4 bedroom villa is the ideal investment for holiday rentals right now in Cyprus.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and another thing I will have to add is the fact that I notice that there's a lot of competition. The fact that a lot of people had unexploited land and now they have ended up doing developments with a collaboration of certain companies, and then they get some properties back and they put it in holiday market. It has become very competitive. So what do you think is how, I know we talk about differentiating through extra amenities, extra tools inside the house. I have noticed that in our company, we keep investing a lot every year. How important do you think is that to differentiate and have a competitive advantage?
Always depending on the product, obviously, the type of property you own and you manage. Obviously, the people they are using platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com, they like the personal approach. They prefer to meet the owner or the manager of the property. So the personal touch on the whole process is very, very important for me. And obviously the attention to detail, because the people they are out of the comfort zone of the hotel, but at the same time they do prefer to have the same level of services. So a property should be obviously clean, should be well prepared. And as I said, the most important for me is the personal communication throughout the process. From the minute that someone is booking a property to come for holidays, the communication and all the process should be smooth, and you should act professionally, even if you rent a studio or a 10 bedroom villa. For me, the process is the same, and we do care, we do dedicate the same time and energy on all of our customers.
Excellent. And of course, it helps a lot of our investors and clients. Usually they ask for guidance in the beginning. So as a company with our experience, we're in position to provide extra tools for decision-making factors. We give feasibility studies and we break down the costing for the investment, apart from purchasing and equipping the further processes, because I'm surprised to see how many expenses there are involved in.
Exactly, and this is where most of the investor they realize that okay, you can make a good turnover from a property, but obviously there are expenses. Obviously on the market there are different schemes. Some of the investors they want to be secure and know that I bought a property, I have a secure 5% return, let's say. So they sublease their properties to either locals or to companies, and you know that you're gonna receive X amount of money. This is a secure path. The other way, obviously, is to manage your property through a company and make some booking by yourself. This can give you a higher return as you dedicate your own time, obviously. But this might be a little bit tricky and risky, where you try to make the return instead of 5, let's say 7 or 8%. And in most of the cases, if you don't have a good coordination or you didn't make a good choice of the company, you end up with different results. So it's very, very important to choose the correct company to manage your property. Or if you feel that you don't have the time, to go on the safe path of subleasing your property to an expert. So you might have a good return. Maybe you keep a usage of some weeks, and this can be hassle-free for you.
Okay, I understand. Excellent. And of course, we will recommend any expert out there, because over the years we have learned which companies are more committed to what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is another part that we can help with.
Εντάξει, obviously, as a group, I'm taking this opportunity. We can, because we have offices in Paphos, Larnaca, and Protaras, we know all the coastal area of Cyprus very well. Obviously, yes, the competition is hard. Is new properties coming in. It's different criteria every time, but it's very important before you buy a property to find a professional estate agent and make a good choice of the property. A very well informed. You need to be informed from all the details before you make your decision. So we can cover that need, and on the other side, because we own 4 properties on the luxury side, we can advise you on how to manage your property. If you want to manage it privately, we can show to you how to manage your property successfully. It's like a learning curve. We make many mistakes, obviously, up to now. So at least now we can advise you to avoid some mistakes. It's very important to be sure that you make a good choice of property.
Excellent. I think we have covered the holiday rental part of from an investment point of view. This is one of our many podcasts to follow, and thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure having you, and if you want us to discuss any topic, let us know through social media. Any topic you want us to cover for you, we are here to cover it. Ωραία, παντού φίλες.